Why is it popular to shit on men who struggle to date? If you spend any time on the internet, you'll run into a comment that goes somewhere along the lines of, "I just struggle to date, women just don't seem to be interested in me." And someone will comment, "Ooh, look who's telling on himself." Are we still in middle school where if you can't get a girlfriend you're a laughingstock? Lots of dudes have trouble dating, ranging from social anxiety, to being on the autism spectrum, to being very narrow in their field on interests and unable to relate well to women. Why shit on people who are struggling or have other issues? Why shit on people who are struggling or have other issues? Gonna reply outside of dating here. If anyone reading this comment is surrounded by people who do this, time to change your surroundings. Strive to be around people who would speak highly of you in areas of opportunity. If you spend any time on the internet, I think the best bet is to do less of it. It's surprisingly easy to be influenced and have your perspectives screwed from being online too much. Wish you all the best with your struggles. My best advice is to spend less time online and more time in the here and now being yourself. Being happy within yourself is an attractive trait. It's not just that. It's the culture of why are you single? I don't chose to be single. I don't want to be single. But I can't find a relationship. How does anyone not understand that? Someone asked recently why it's so popular to shit on women who have had absent fathers too. I've realized a long time ago that generally people sometimes suck, and just because something is popular doesn't mean you have to participate. I don't see a reason for shitting on anyone even if they put themselves in a certain bad situation. That doesn't mean they deserve shame, hate, ridicule, etc. for it. It's honestly fucked up. Being the one who was shat on, if you're constantly ridiculed in your early years, your self-esteem takes a real beating. When you see a girl of your dreams, you know you're not worthy. It takes everything within your soul to go forward with anything, including just hi. Lots of years are required with loving people to reverse those feelings. If someone actually wants advice, it's really easy to tell. But the ones that flip it as an excuse to shit on women or other people because of their lack of dating skills are pretty obvious, so they get shit on. Personally, I don't give a fuck if someone is able to date or not. But if you use it as a pathetic excuse to shit on others, you get what you dish out back. Depends if they are actually having trouble or just blaming women for not being able to date successfully. Because people are assholes and need to feel superior to someone. To answer your question, yes, some of these people are indeed still in middle school. A lot of the internet is literal children with no internet supervision. Children who are ruthless, entitled, cruel, take pleasure in bullying others, and have and will continue to shit on anyone and everyone for any and every reason. You think women who are atypical and struggle to date don't face shitty asshole comments too? They absolutely do. I'm genuinely sorry. To you, Op, and to all who have dealt with those kinds of comments. You have to learn to pay those kinds of comments no mind. Downvote and move on. It depends how stubborn they are about some awful beliefs. Some people kinda need to be shitted on. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty mean. I get like 2-3 dates a year. I'm pretty fucking lonely. And yeah, I get shit on. I wish I had a good personality, didn't have ADHD, and was more handsome. But I can't change these things. I've watched almost all of my friends now go off and get married and have kids. And I am sitting alone in my apartment every night. Only a bottle to keep me company. Do you think woman dying alone with cats is not a common insult? It's usually what they say in the post that rubs people wrong. Not the fact that they have trouble dating. It's almost always combined with shitty takes that give them away as a shitty person. I've seen many posts without that kind of toxicity that are full of helpful or kind comments. Punching down is easy, giving genuine and well-meaning advice is much harder. I'm a girl and I was single for 23 years because I was very shy. Had low self-esteem and it showed in my attitude and in how I looked. After I started working on myself, I found it much easier to approach people and be approachable. Honestly, I just apply the same logic to men. I do feel empathy for them, but the ones who complain about being single the most are also the ones who think they deserve a girlfriend cause everyone else has one, and who talk about women like they're some kind of social currency. It depends on entirely why they struggle to date. If you have self-esteem issues and have trouble meeting new folks, that's one thing. But if you routinely have body odor fit for a UGIO tournament, then that's another thing entirely. There are some dudes out there who have no game, and then there are dudes with no game board, no game pieces, no game rules or manual, and when you ask them what their issue is, they call you a laundry list of slurs. Just saying, some of them deserve it. But also some people are just garbage and pick on others. Life's complicated like that. The people saying this stuff online are likely 14 or 15 years old. Because it is assumed that if a male is unsuccessful at dating, it's because he is an incel. People make a ton of assumptions. Social expectation that anything wrong in men's lives is due to controllable internal factors. Also, general indifference to male suffering for any reason. If you're not constantly demonstrating value, then on some level, then most societies view men as a threat or a burden. Because newsflash, women can be assholes too. Because a huge amount of people in the world lack empathy. So often those guys eventually start blaming women anytime they get an ounce of sympathy, and I think people are tired of it. I've never seen those dudes take any advice respectfully either. There's an excuse for everything. Answer: because people are miserable and they think bringing others down will make them less miserable. It's not particularly gendered, as society is pretty mean to women that can't find a partner. Edit: if you are talking about incels in particular, which your comments seem like you might be, it's because they have unrealistic expectations for a partner juxtaposed with anger towards women and society, and that contrast makes them unsympathetic. Read your comments in this thread. You literally answer your own question. I got tired of it 10 years ago, so I just quit entirely. Sucked to be single and over 40 enough as it was. Being regarded as a misfit toy to the majority of single women. Surely I did something that drove all of my significant others away? Add to that I'm a single father, raising my special needs son all alone. Too much to explain over one coffee at Starbucks. I walked away from the cynicism and strange looks. Never looked back. Because the internet is full of miserable people who love to shit on others. And men aren't considered protected on most social media platforms, therefore, it's relatively easy to shit on them with practically zero risk of repercussions. It's not popular with me. Not sure what you're on about. Because all these people are doing is complaining about their situation, and many have essentially already given up. They're not looking for advice on how to change. They're trying to throw a pity party for themselves. If you're struggling to date, don't just post about your situation. Ask how you can improve, and have a positive outlook that things will change for yourself. People who aren't incels don't view dating as a life and death struggle, but a fun topic of conversation and light teasing.